If you see us as a little crazy, and you see African Americans a little off, you see us with we got a little sense. You got to look at us like, wow, these are some amazing people because they had to deal with them. And then they was dealing with them when there were no laws, when nobody cared about us, when we didn't have nobody to speak for us,
Yeah.
nobody to come and say, hey, those are my people, those are my family members, stop doing what you're doing. We just endured it. And if they wasn't these slave masters are not even our family, you imagine how they treated us. So that to me should bring some compassion from our brothers and sisters abroad that were lied to.
When we say Black Lives Matter, let it matter to us black people first. Let it matter to us black people first. Then somebody else would put respect to what we already respect. Yeah. But let's not only say Black Lives Matters when somebody else degrades a black life and we ourselves have the right to degrade it anyhow in society, and still nobody will say it matters because it's me who is desecrating it. No.
That's it.
If Black Lives Matters, let me show the world that it matters
That's it. That's
first
right.
before
Hmm.
somebody will attach importance to it.
Dr. G. Real stories, real people. Unpacking the struggles, reclaiming the narratives with Dr. G.
Greetings, family, and welcome back to Black Stories. Today, I'm honored to continue a powerful conversation that began from one of our videos from AfriSota Digital Channel. And the video is titled, How Africans and African Americans See Each Other. That discussion sparked reflections, emotions, and honest dialogues from both sides of the ocean. And joining me today is Sister Regina, a proud African American storyteller and creator of the Eye of the Coconut Shell YouTube channel. After watching the video, she reached out to share her thoughts and her heart. And so today we're coming together in that story of truth, healing, and Ubuntu. I am because we are. Join the conversation. Drop your comments below. Let me know your struggle. Let me know your thoughts. What emotional memories did you revisit when you watched that clip?
I just felt like when I watched that clip, which one are you talking about? The elder?
The one for how Africans and African Americans view each other.
Well, when you talked about we have that's when you said that we have internalized this division because it's like we really think we're so different from one
Yes.
another.
Okay.
That part hit me. I said, we have internalized this. Like we believe like it's like you are look at those Africans. Like I won't say, I don't even like to wear the we thing because I don't look at them that way, but I know that African Americans have actually internalized this division. And like I look at some of the like I was looking at a video yesterday and how they call people, especially that have the traditions, like the cultural, spiritual practices. I won't even say the ones to make people, but go crazy. They're witches. They're witches. It just I can't even say anything to these folks. Like if I went after them, they would come after me.
Yeah.
So and this is not stuff I was my mother wasn't into African spirituality, but I like kept stumbling upon it. It's like the answers to the questions I had showed up in African spirituality, but I still don't know it like by book. It's a spiritual thing. Like I can't say I learned about it from a book or a person.
Yeah.
But definitely, I say my ancestors want me to learn these things. They do. So, but they are on attack. Anything that looks and sounds African, like as far as our spiritual practices, or it's too African. I'm like, oh my God, folks really have a lot, a lot of. Ooh, I don't know. They're gonna learn it, and it's it's an attack on African culture,
Yeah.
really seriously. You
Yeah.
know, they like
And
the beauty of the clothes and the colors and stuff, but food, but don't go into spiritual stuff. Y'all witches, right? So I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
wow. I
yeah.
don't
And it's especially with the division, the differences. Uh, this was something that was intentionally done. It was no accident. When the colonizers were coming, they did not just wake up one morning and say, let's go to Africa and get some people to work in the farm. When we have enough, then, that was a business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you wake up and you say, I have to go to work. And my job is to catch black people, bound them, take them to a waiting area, and then get them to pass through the doors of no return, take them onto the ship, bring them, auction them, sell them. This was a business for
Yeah.
some people. And so you can imagine, today we talk about high rates of people quitting their job and people not being productive. They needed the numbers, and because with the kind of labor that our brothers and sisters were subjected to, their lifespan was shortened, and so there was need for continuous flow of product, as we were seeing. There was that need for continuous flow of product. That is the dehumanizing
Mm-hmm.
nature of what happened 400 years ago. And that continuous flow of product, people were not just brought to the United States from Africa straight. They'll go and land in Cuba, in Brazil, different places, then do the auction, and then people bring their property, as they called us in those days. And you had to keep up with the turnover. You had to keep up. If you,
Mm-hmm.
you know that, oh, I have 20 black people, enslaved people, maybe they have like 20 more years or 10 more years. Their productivity was measured according to how long they have stayed in the field, according to how much work they have done. How much will they be able to produce in the next 5 years? It will drop because their energy. This is how we were. Just like you treat machines today, you say, oh, we have to sell those computers. They are no longer productive. They are not updated. They literally did that for business. But
Mm-hmm.
guess what they also did? They came not just waking up one day and doing business. Before you start a business, you have to think about it. You have to maybe register the business. You have to think of who is your competitor. You have to think of the strategy of getting your product.
Mm.
They came with the missionaries. Can I go there?
Yes, you can go there. Yes, you can. Tell
They
it.
came with the missionaries, and behind the word of God was the colonizer and the enslaver. The colonizer did not come to take people out of Africa. The colonizer came to erase Africans in their land and make it their property. That's why you hear people were calling parts of like the Zaire, Congo became like a street in France. The kings were looking at it as part of their properties. These are folks who did not come with the intention of just getting people to work. They came with the intention of conquering and making it their land. So
Yes.
these ones were part of that journey. Behind the Bible, behind the gospel, there was the colonizer. Behind the gospel, there was the enslaver whose business was literally to get the people out and sell them to people who are using them in the farm. And so this whole Bible enslaver colonizer was the beginning of that difference that they planted in us. So those who remained were being colonized. They were not on vacation. They were not on Miami taking wine and drinking from the sale of our brothers and sisters. No. The colonizers were there to make sure they dominated. They partitioned us. They break families and split them and say, this is your country, this is your country. Something we can now die for,
Mm-hmm.
killing our own brothers back in Africa because a line was drawn between our families, between our homes, saying that now you no longer belong to Cameroon or Nigeria, you only belong to one country. People can die for, people can kill for. So that was what was happening there with the colonizers. And then those who took our brothers and sisters away, they were erasing their identity from the surface of the earth, from their names, beating them out of their names, beating them out of their villages, beating them out of their culture. This is how it was done. It was intentionally. And how do we undo it? We cannot just wake up one morning and say one conversation is going to do it. We have to be intentional about it. Yeah, we have to be strategic about it. They came with the gospel to tell us, oh, slaves, honor your masters. Slaves, be obedient to your masters. Forgetting the part which says, let my people go. Intentionally, you know? So we cannot, now that we have an opportunity to unlearn some of these things, we cannot think it will just happen overnight, one day, and one story, one conversation, one YouTube channel is going to do it. We have got to be intentional about it. The brothers and sisters who were taken to Latin America, scattered all over, those who were taken to the Caribbean, those who were brought here to the United States, those who were taken to Europe, those who remained in Africa, you know, we became so different from each other. But do you know one thing that remained? Our identity was not wiped away. When they thought they were burying us to the ground, what they didn't know was that they were planting seeds. And those seeds are you and I, sister, who are now growing and rising tall. And all we can do now is be able to listen. Listen to the stories of those who were taken away. Listen to the stories of those who remained in Africa. Listen to the stories of our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, in Europe, and be able to have a reunion. It doesn't mean that we are the same, but it means we can unify on the basis that something happened which disrupted our metamorphosis. What if Africans were left to just evolve like any other people evolved? You know, what if we were not interrupted? What would have happened?
I say it all the time.
And so we are here, 400 and something years after that interruption, with an intention to wipe us away from the planet. Guess what? We are still here.
Still here.
And when they talk about continents with the most promising youthful population today, they talk about Africa. So I'm just bringing these facts out just to show us that, yes, the truth of the matter is, and we must be honest and humble with that truth. Yes, it's hurting to realize that where I call motherland, some of my ancestors were actually given away without coercion by the same people who are supposed to be my brothers. That is painful. That is painful. And we must understand that pain. You know, we must also understand that the brothers who remained fought to keep motherland what we can call motherland today, with their tears, with their blood. Some of them were killed brutally. Some of them were dehumanized. You know, they fought to keep Africa, Africa today. And that fighting is ongoing. You know, you mentioned that you used to look at anything outside America like heaven, relaxed, peaceful, nice. Some other person in Africa is thinking, after America, it should be heaven. And there comes
I just
us.
wanted to be around them. That's it.
Yeah.
My people. Just
Yeah.
like I wanted to bridge a gap. You know, I see the attack on our culture and what's left of it.
Yeah.
I've seen it, you know, and wherever I see our culture showing itself, like the ancestors are still here. I'm running toward it. Since I was a kid, it was like a
Mhm.
spy, just trying to see where the culture is still relevant, just little remnants of it everywhere. And someone else was watching.
Yeah.
Wherever they saw community or some kind of some hope that we could be a certain kind of people, that we could redeem ourselves in a way where not even redeem, we could just bounce back and be who we were created to be.
Mhm.
Someone's always studying us and trying to figure out how they could stomp that out.
Yeah, yeah. And that is why I talk about we must be intentional, we must be strategic. And it cannot happen if we don't listen with understanding. If we only try to prove a point that I am more black because I went through this, I am more black because I can buy this hat and wear it and these beads, I'm more African because I can speak an African language, you know, if we keep doing that, then we are glorifying the intention of the
Mm.
colonizers and the enslavers.
The
Yeah,
love.
we are glorifying the intention because that is exactly where the intention was to keep us.
Yes. The Willie Lynch letter is still like
Yeah,
that. You've heard of that book, right? The Willie Lynch letter. They basically, when they just sat down and they devised this man, Willie Lynch, he wrote this book basically showing how he could keep us divided, all these different things. I got to reread it, but
yeah,
it basically all the things that we're going through now are still exist. It was a master plan, and listen, the plan is amazing. Like wow, to keep us divided,
yeah,
you see how it works. I mean, it works like even when I mean what happened in Africa, all the different ethnic groups and all that. Oh, all of that was a master plan, right? To keep us fighting. But like you talk about the Bible, you got to be so very careful with folk because they can come. They come
yeah.
like the things they did with that Bible, even at the point of no return, those and the
Mhm.
door, the dungeons, and how they have us like in the slave castle where they'd be at the auctioning off our bodies upstairs and downstairs having church. I mean, they
Yeah,
were just doing
yeah.
having church. What kind of church was they having? But
Praying to God for a successful business.
and it's still happening to this day, and it's
Yeah,
the reason why I'm saying
yeah.
like we can't, if we don't see that that is still being used against us to this day. I mean, it is still working with us to this day. Like, I love this book. I have to show, when I
Mhm.
read
Oh,
this
yeah.
book,
Chinua Achebe. That is,
yeah,
yeah,
this is a classic. And when I
that's a
read this
classic.
book, I
All
said,
time. Yeah.
it made me weep, right? It made me weep because um, it really happened. It really happened, and people don't believe this really happened, and this is really happening,
Yeah.
and so these things stay in my heart. This book right here, I want to show you this one, Barrackfoon, by
Uh-huh.
Zora Hurston. This wonderful elder, right? His
Okay.
story is amazing. He was on the last cargo out of Africa when slavery was already abolished and it was
Mm-hmm.
unlawful. And even still, they, took him from his village, enslaved him, and I believe it was in Alabama, or I think it was Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And someone's going to correct me. It was Alabama or Florida. And so when his story is amazing, and it makes me so sad because he never stopped forgetting about talking about Africa. I mean, to the day he died,
Yeah.
he longed to go back home. And, African Americans laughed at him because he would not forget Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And they built their own churches and did whatever they wanted to go back once they were set free. He wanted to go back to Africa, but the slave master wouldn't send him back. But think I think about his spirit. I said his spirit never died.
Yeah.
His body died, but what happened to his spirit? His soul. His soul was always still longing to go back.
Yeah.
So I really identify with this elder because I felt like I'm that spirit that always wanted to go
Yeah.
back home. So, I think there are some of us who still have that longing, but we think it's supposed to look like America. But that's
Mm-hmm.
another story.
Yeah.
Africa, right?
And in fact, you say it as it is, the longing to go back should never die in us.
Never die.
What we should accompany that longing with is the fact that that return is not to a geographical location.
Mm,
Because trust
mm,
me, and ask African Americans who have gone to Ghana, to Kenya, to Africa, to Nigeria, just to live there. Ask them what life is, and they'll tell you a whole different story. You won't just fit in. Even for us who come from Africa, immigrants who are here after living here for a number of years, you can't just fit in when you go back to Africa. So
mhm.
the longing to return, and yet we say that's home. You find somebody saying, yeah, back home, back home, back home, and they're here for 40 years. Back home, back home, back home, they're here for 60 years. But that is the truth. That longing, that home is always across the ocean.
Mm,
That longing that my feet may be standing here, but my shadow is always across the ocean, back in Africa. That longing should not end. The only thing that we should shift a little is accept the fact that that return doesn't have to be to a geographic location. We need to return to our cultures. We need to return to who we have always been. And yes, enough has been erased from names, languages, culture. A lot has been erased, but we still remember.
we still remember.
We still remember. And if we can remember, we can return. We can reinvent it. We can bring it back. And so that's why you have Black Stories segment for my channel here, is to go as far back as we can remember. I want to speak with as many elders, as many brothers and sisters as I can, because the libraries that we have, the curriculum that we are taught in our schools, they give us very selective part of that history. And so when I meet a 70-year-old brother, African American, I want to hear. I want to hear what they know. I want to hear what they remember. When I meet a 92-year-old brother, I want to hear what they went through, because this is uncensored history. This is history that has not been filtered for us to read what they want us to know, you know. So we have to start rising up. And I'm sure this is not the beginning. We've watched it in movies, how celebrities, actors have tried to bring us back to that place where we belong. They have acted movies. Look at Roots, taking us all the way back. We have real people, real stories, just to make sure that our younger folks are not seeing this as just fiction, Wakanda and all that. It's not
Yes,
fiction. We
yes,
still have real elders among us who may not have gone to schools to get all the degrees, but they have lived the experience and they can tell us from their experiences. Because
yes.
we have to live these stories, we have to live this history and change the narrative.
That's it.
Yeah,
Have to be intentional, like you said, every day, every day.
yeah,
It's not something, it's not something because it's our culture is
yeah,
and our memory is being erased every second of the day. That remembrance. And so our ancestors are counting on us. That's what I
mhm,
believe. They are counting on us. They've
yeah,
been waiting for us.
yeah.
They
To
have
get,
been waiting
get
for
from,
us to open
yeah,
the door. Like, can I get in there? Everyone else has been camping out and taking up space. Can I
yeah,
get in there? Can I have a say? Instead of all these strangers and people that someone told you, No, you know me because I'm in
you
you.
know me.
So
Yeah,
I don't want
you
to,
do.
don't let me start preaching in here, but it's real. It's real. Like I am here
Sure.
with you. You know me. You know I love you. You know
Mhm.
I've loved you. And if I hurt you, it wasn't intentional. But knowing their stories and hearing their stories, then it should bring some empathy. And then after that, the empathy comes the forgiveness. And after the forgiveness comes the, okay, let's learn you. Let's learn who we were supposed to be. Walk the walk, you know.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I just think it has to be this pain or whatever story you were told, because you don't really know
Mhm.
the full how your people were tricked. You don't know you can see it now, like with all this stuff that's going on in the news. I hope my brothers and sisters abroad really feel more empathetic towards us, realizing we've been with this kind of people for a very long time,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
hundreds of years. We've been
And
dealing with these people. So if you see
oh,
us as a little crazy, and you see African Americans a little off, you see us with we got a little sense. You got to look at us like, wow, these are some amazing people, because they had to deal with them. And then they was dealing with them when there were no laws, when nobody cared about us, when we didn't have nobody to speak for us,
yeah,
nobody to come and say, hey, those are my people, those are my family members, stop doing what you're doing. We just endured it. And if they wasn't these slave masters are not even our family, you imagine how they treated us. So that to me should bring some compassion from our brothers and sisters abroad that were lied to, and then it open your understanding to want to learn us more. Like, wow, you had to endure with that, because all it's like the oil is risen on top of the water, right? Right now,
mhm,
you've seen all this dirty oil rise on top of the water with
yeah,
the racism you've seen that was always here, but
yeah,
now it's risen to the top, all the muck, right? You can't ignore it. So you got
yeah,
to know it was always there.
yeah.
And we had to deal with it.
Yeah,
We had to
sure.
learn how to laugh and smile through it all and shuck and jive.
There
So,
you go.
right? We did what
Yeah,
we had to do to survive. We had to be really smart. And to this day, we still have to be smart. It hasn't stopped.
yeah.
It has not stopped.
That's
So
it.
now, our brothers and sisters that were told lies abroad, right? Because we were all lied to, but they were told lies abroad. I don't know, maybe their family members wanted to protect them, or maybe somebody else, like you said, put the divisive stuff in their head to keep us from uniting and coming together. But the way I look at this thing, I said, you see, every time you set a trap for us, we find our way back. Because
Yeah.
look at this. You strip the language, right? And you
Mhm.
forced our people with colonization to learn English
Yeah.
abroad, right? But look at this. Now the two of us are here talking together,
That's
using
it.
the language
That's it.
that you forced upon our people in Africa.
Mhm.
I was like, this is the day I've been waiting for since I was a little girl, to be able to commune with my brothers and sisters abroad. This is a day they never imagined would happen. So we beat them. So what are we gonna do with this? Let's come out of our little South African group, our Nigerian group, our Ghanaian group, our Jamaican group, our American,
Yeah.
come together now. This is what I want to see. I
Yeah.
want to see the African salad bowl of Cubans, Brazilians,
Yeah.
South Africans, Nigerians, all of us just come together because you realize we've been tricked. Stop. We need to stop this nonsense. Stop this divisive foolishness. As you speak negatively against us, our blood is still connected. It
Yeah.
does not, you're really talking about yourself.
Mhm.
You're really disrespecting your ancestors. Really. And who's going to look out for you better than your own kin, your own family? So we need
Exactly.
to understand, we need to really get this thing right. So my thing is, let we sit down and reason and really learn each other so we can rise up. And all those things that, we tried before to help us, that listen, we ain't in no better situation than we were
Yeah.
back then. So let me try something different. Let's try something different. All these different religious nonsense, different things we did, ain't nothing changed. If anything, things got worse. So
Yeah.
let me try something different. How about we try our own thing? But
Yeah.
nobody really wants to hear that. But I'm saying what we've been doing ain't been working. This divisiveness, this you here, you there.
Yeah.
My thing is, let us sit down and reason. Yeah, you learn your culture, but you're all over there still doing your thing separately. You
Yeah.
still over there in your little Igbo, Yoruba, Shikiri, this one that. Come together.
Together.
Come
Yeah.
together. The game is being played on you. You don't even understand. I don't care what your mother said. I don't care what your grandmother told you. Common sense. Let your spirit be your guide.
Yeah.
The truth will always prevail over lies.
Mhm. Mhm.
It will always prevail. So it doesn't, it's like no matter what they try to do. But Molly said it, it's like they can never, never, never
Yeah.
take this thing away from us. It's like,
No.
when would they learn? I love what the young men, the young people are doing in Africa. I love the fact that they're coming into their culture, they're embracing it. And sometimes young people, this is what I feel. I'm sorry because our ancestors are waiting on us. And so what happens is that sometimes this part of the Bible that they try to say, you have to defy your mother, your father. This is the part where you may have to use that piece of the Bible,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
defy your mother and your father and stuff so you can rise up, so we could really get this thing back,
Mhm.
right? And get in our rightful place.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
time that you make, no, don't disrespect them, no, but you have to just go your course, right? Because
Yeah.
what they did is not going to work today, not necessarily unless it's the elders with the wisdom, the ones, the old time people, as they
Yeah.
call them, backbush
Yeah.
people. They're not backbush. Those people are the people we need to be sitting with, because
Yeah.
other people from other cultures are coming to sit with our elders
Mhm.
to learn their ways, and they can't get it because it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
The gift was for us. They have the gift. We have to be willing to sit in front of them. No, we bypassing the elders. We ain't have no time. They talking foolishness.
Mhm.
No, it's them we must be sitting with.
Yeah.
The wise ones who know who they are, because some of them turn foo-foo too.
Mhm.
Some of
Mhm.
them forgot who they
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
right? Because old is not just in your body. It's
Mhm.
what have you done? Have you grown with the elders? Have you sat with the elders when you were younger and learned from them?
Yeah.
You know, is this something that I feel like we I'm really glad to see our young people are really relentless about this.
This is very important. The history that we have been told, the media, that we watch every day, painted a different kind of Africa for us, painted a different kind of motherland for us. Talk about insecurity, talk about how things happen in Africa, poverty. Nobody wants to tell you the upside of what's happening in that continent. Nobody wants to show you the CBD, Nairobi, Lagos, how people are living free, big, and doing great things for their community. And I do appreciate when they show us the downside, because then it helps us think it's not enough to have my billions and live in a castle. I should look out for this person who is also down here. You know, it's fine, but that's not all. You are not telling the whole story. If you just pick and choose, then you will choose to tell the story that shapes home for our brothers and sisters who have no other knowledge about Africa. When I moved to the United States, a brother asked me in the factory, that was in Georgia, by the way. I worked in the factory, and a brother asked me, so you're a king? So everybody is a king in Africa? You guys have homes? You guys have... I was like, oh, wow. I'm not a king. I'm just an ordinary person like you. Everybody from Africa is not a king. Kingship is not that cheap and common. Kings don't come here to work in the factory. you know?
Like that movie, Coming
Yeah,
to America.
you know. So I was like, I'm not a king. I came here to find a way for me, for my family, and for the people who would be in my community here. And that's one thing we forget. You know, And I know some people just come here to get what they can get, but I truly want to honor our black brothers and sisters who have toiled and survived all the mistreatment, the dehumanization, built this country to
Yes.
what it is today. The food, I call it the food basket of the world. You know how many people are able to go to school because they have somebody in the United States? They don't care how many jobs you have to work. They don't care how strenuous it is to get that money, but they know that you will provide for them. We would not have that space 400 years ago. We would not have that space even 100 years ago. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the 1920s. You know, if people had not survived, if people had not endured, if people had not persevered and keep the fight, just to make us have even the freedom we have today to work, to talk about our rights, to come here and study and work here freely, freedom of speech, freedom of culture. The brothers and sisters who are here fought for those things. They endured every kind of pain to make me be able to come here, go into the factory, get a job, talk about rights, work for a just pay or work for a considerably fair pay. So we must honor them even if they are not remembering the culture, even if they don't remember the villages that they were taken from or that their ancestors were taken from. We must be humble enough to honor them for enduring and making this place what it is, that everybody all over the world want to come to America until they get to America and then they want to leave America. you know and guess what? When we come here, because we come with all that limited knowledge of what our brothers and sisters have gone through and how their struggles have been carried from one generation to another, we come here and try to insult. We come here and try to ridicule. We come here and try to look at our brothers and sisters as lazy. We come here and try to look at them as over, what do you call it, entitled. We come here and try to say all kinds of things. And guess what? We refuse to learn from our black brothers and sisters. We refuse to associate with them. We refuse to have company with
Mhm.
them. Yeah. I have attended weddings. I've attended birthday celebrations. It's like a trophy to fill the room with white people. And you look around, how many black American brothers do we have in this event?
It's so true.
Absolutely zero.
Zero.
Because people have it in their mentality that don't associate with black Americans, they will not take you anywhere. Trust me, there is a wealth of wisdom, a wealth of lived knowledge that our brothers have. And until we respect that, until we acknowledge that if we side with them, we're siding for a long journey of success, we will always have a short lived success story.
See?
Trust me. It will be a short lived success story. And this is not to blame any white person who is listening to this right now. This is not to accuse any white person. No, we are past that level. Because any white person listening to this conversation right now, you just happen to be in the intersection of what's happening right now. You absolutely, and we're not blaming you for it. We're not accusing you for it. We're past the level of giving you too much credit. Giving you too much credit that you don't deserve. No, because it's time for us to tell our stories the way it truly is, uncensored. You
That's
know,
right. That's
if we
right.
don't if we don't learn from our brothers and sisters who have been here long enough, I can tell you for sure, we will always have a short time glory, short term glory. Yeah.
Very true. I
Yeah.
think like for me growing up with first well my friends most of them were born somewhere else because that's just what was my road. I mean most of my friends are born somewhere else. That's just what it is because I'm just drawn to them and they've drawn to me. We see each other as family. but I do
Yeah.
recognize that I had to see them as family.
Hmm.
So they have not, to me, really, they have to live in this country a long time to realize what's really going on. Like, when they first come over, they think just like Caribbean people think just like Africans. They all get the same booklet about African Americans. They all get the same leaflet or whatever, instruction book about stay away from them or whatever, or they're this and don't be
Yeah.
friends with them because they all get the same memo, unfortunately. But I mean, it's like this. I always felt like people that have so much to say about a people, and that's all people,
Hmm.
they most likely don't even have friends from that group of people. Like they never really went to their houses. They
Yeah.
never really got to know an African American person.
Hmm.
And think about it. They even white people in this
Yeah.
country, a lot of
Yeah.
and I mean a lot of us don't know them, like
Yeah.
really know them,
Yeah.
and a lot of them don't really know us. It just all
Yeah.
comes from ignorance.
Yeah.
You talk what you don't know, but you're not even willing to learn. You just repeat that nonsense over, and you tell your children that, and it's all lies. But it's unfortunate because what happens is that you miss out.
Hmm.
Your ignorance has caused you to miss out on the things that you could learn from those people, right?
Sure. Sure.
So, but I think also that you have to want to have relationships with
Hmm.
one another.
Yeah.
You got to really want to know one another as to for it to happen. Like you got to be, like you said, intentional about having relationships with people from other countries,
Yeah.
your brothers and sisters, and you got to care about them. You got to see them as family. You got to really see them as family. Like you said, we have internalized this division. It's not
Yeah.
even real.
Hmm.
But you think it's like you're so different. You're so different, is what we think. That's what you
Yeah.
say.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
That's cool.
you seem very passionate about that, and you know your folk, like they say, you know your people. It's like I know mines, and I
Yeah.
know certain things I can't say about African Americans because they'll come for me. They're not ready. They're not ready for the average one is not ready to hear about because when you hear a lot of the talk about Africans and I ain't African, and there's a lot of that, and I feel sadness when I hear those comments, but I know I cannot help them. I'm sorry. As far as going after them, I can't help them in that way. Attacking them, I'm not going to reach them in that way. All I can do, I know I don't attract them. They're not interested in me because when they see me, they see somebody else. They don't believe I'm even from America. So it's basically an identity crisis. I think it's all goes down to boils down to identity crisis. You don't
Yeah.
really know who you are, and you spend your whole life trying to be somebody else. That's why I always say the cat and the dog. You grew up thinking you barked, and you found out that you meowed, but you gotta be around your folks to know. Oh, this feels right.
Yeah.
Sounds right. Ooh, eating yam, that tastes so good. I'm gonna have some fufu and some egusi
Mhm.
soup. Oh, that tastes good. You never had it before, but until you have it, then you say, "Oh, this feels right." Or you start doing certain things, and then it starts feeling right. And all these other things felt like you were wearing somebody else's coat. This coat don't fit. I keep
Yeah.
trying to put this coat on. This coat does not fit. It's
Hmm.
not made for you. It's not made for you. It's okay to try. It may look all right, but
Hmm.
it can even look better if it's yours. So
Yeah.
that's why you should spend all your life trying to find out who you are, who you really are, who you were meant to be. Because like I speak to my friends and I say stuff like, if we were all supposed to be the same, just look at the plant kingdom. I mean, you plants, look, they're all plants, but they're different kind of plants. They were
Definitely.
made different for a reason. Okay? You go when I go walking in nature and I see the ducks and the geese and the white one, the black
Yeah.
one, they all in their little flock. They're all in the lake, but they're all in their little flock.
Yeah.
They're all ducks, but they're all different. They all have something unique about them. Same thing with us. So that's why we need to find out what it is that is unique about us. And what are those things that are unique about us? And try to get more of that in you. And you got to practice it now because you didn't know how to do it for a long,
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
It's like relearning yourself, not learning yourself, but
Yeah.
relearning,
Relearning.
relearning yourself. But all of us have to do it, even Africans on the continent need to
Oh,
learn.
yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Even Africans from the continent. And the disrespect that I see coming from Africans out of the United States is alarming. It's alarming. You hear somebody outrightly saying black Americans don't have a culture. And I ask them, define culture to me. What is culture? Go back to your dictionary and check it out. What is culture? Somebody said they don't have a language. What is African American vernacular? You say they don't have a language. And this is all because we try to place everything under this is more superior than this is less superior than this. The African American culture is valid and complete as it is.
Mm,
The
mm,
Caribbean culture is valid and complete as it is.
that's it.
The
That's it.
Latin American black culture is valid and complete as it is. These are people who tried. These are people who never gave up remembering and shaping that remembrance with a totally different environment brought up something which today some people just have disrespect and lack of humility to say there's no culture. You don't know. You don't know. Enlighten yourself. You
Enlighten
know?
yourself.
Yeah. There is culture and that is valid. When we talk of we are one people, we are not saying we are uniform. We're not talking about uniformity. We're talking about unity. Because when somebody says I'm African, I've had that conversation. Somebody says I'm not African American, I'm American. I say, okay, do you know what America is? You know? The United States is not the whole of America. This is just a country. This is just a country. So when you say I'm not African, I'm American, there's no country called Africa. It's a people.
The
And
people.
if you are a if you belong to that group of people, you are African. Go anywhere and they'll tell you.
They're coming
Yeah?
at you.
Go everywhere, they'll tell you an African. An African American was in the room. They will not say, it would not make so much sense if they just say a black American was in the room. They say an African American was in the room. That is the people. When you listen to all the white people in the United States, they have their origin. Why do we celebrate St. Patrick's Day? This is a culture that people have carried into this country. Go back and look at the history of the United States itself, and see how different people, different groups came here for the same reason of economic empowerment, for reasons of maybe running away from problems, except the African Americans who were brought here against their will. They didn't travel all the way from Africa to come here to look for survival. They were brought here when they did not want to come here. And they came here and built this place. They came here and fought the war of reuniting the Union. And nobody will tell you that. That's what we celebrate in Juneteenth. Yeah. I was having that conversation with Elder Embry, and it's an enlightening conversation.
That's very
It
good.
is enlightening. But
It is.
if we don't take the time to hear these stories from those who lived it, we
Yes.
continue to live in our own small bubbles. And that ignorance is what is going to continue helping the original intention of the colonizers and the enslavers get propagated. Now by who? By us.
By us. By
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. And what better way of doing it than make package that thing and sell it to the person you need to destroy. And then they buy it very expensive and sell it to the rest of their own community. So we have to wake up. We have to wake up. And I'm not glorifying everything African, whether it's from the continent, the Caribbean, Europe, America, as it's the right or is the only way. No. We have our deficiencies. We have our shortcomings as Africans. We have our shortcomings as Africans from the continent, African Americans, Caribbeans, Africans in Europe. We have our shortcomings in many different ways. But we need to listen to our elders. We need to find our identity and not keep being the victim of circumstance.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
We need to find our identity and not, when we say Black Lives Matter, let it matter to us Black people first. Let it matter to us Black people first. Then somebody else would put respect to what we already respect.
That's
Yeah.
it.
But let's not only say Black Lives Matters when somebody else degrades a Black life and we ourselves have the right to degrade it anyhow in society, and still nobody would say it matters because it's me who is desecrating it. No. If Black Lives Matters, let me show the world that it matters
That's it. That's
first
right.
before somebody will attach importance to it. Our lived realities can feel, you know, yeah, our lived realities can feel very, very complicated.
Dr. G. Real stories, real people, unpacking the struggles, reclaiming the narratives with Dr. G.